Lucky I got this ASIC box over here. Sorry ASIC. Let's see, please stand, please stand, please stand. Please stand, please stand, please stand. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can stand. Okay, let's start the video. Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about the Ceepo Mamba-R. Let's get started.
Right on.
Hey everyone, Zach here back with another video. So I do cycling related content from bike tech review, bike review and even vlogs. So if you into this kind of stuff, do check out my channel. Appreciate you all. So some of you all might have known already that I've been riding this bike for quite some time. If you all follow my social media, you will be seeing this bike often. So do check out my social media, and I'll be doing a lot of back behind the scene content for this bike. So do follow me on Instagram if you are into this kind of stuff. So as you all know that I've been riding with Polygon bikes for quite some time now, and up until recently I feel like that I want to up my game or I want to try something new. So that's where I came across this Ceepo Mamba-R. So Ceepo is actually a Japanese brand bike, and I recently came across this bike at 96 Cycling, and there are some interesting things for you to know about this bike. So for instance, this bike is actually convertible into a time trial setup. As you all may know that I'm actually a triathlete. I'm very interested in playing triathlons, swim, bike and run. And for having bike versatile like this is really something tempting for me. As you all may see in this picture, the front hood you can change into a TT setup, as well as the seat post over there is actually flippable, and you can flip the seat post further front enough so that this can be set up into a TT setup. So for someone like me, a triathlete, this one will be an interesting bike frame where I can have a future or a progression where I can set this bike into a time trial setup. And yeah, do stay tuned to my channel if you're into this kind of stuff. I will try my best to set this bike into a time trial setup in the future. So we're going to talk about the specification of this bike. Over here we have the frame. I choose the red color Ceepo Mamba Type R. Come with a size XS. Apparently this is the best fitted size for me. As you can even see, if I take anything bigger, my seat post, I will have problem with that. Anyway, so I pair it up with a two-piece handlebar. Over here we have a FSA stem and also handlebar, 100mm stem and 380mm handlebar. And I pair it with Ultegra R8100 group set. Basically the whole bike is actually the latest Ultegra excluding the crankset. So the crankset that I use is from the previous generation of Ultegra, because this was actually swapped from my previous bike. It's a Mergin power meter. Unfortunately it's not working right now, but I need the crank arm. So that one is 165mm crank arm with 50-34 chain ring. For the pedal, this one is the 105 Shimano pedal. And back there we have a cassette, 1134 cassette. So as for the bottle cage, I have the Aero bottle from Elite, the Chronos CX. And also for saddle wise, I chose the fabric saddle. That one worked well for me. So as for the wheels, I use the Loon Hyper wheels, pair it up together with the Schwalbe Pro 1 Aero tubeless setup, and the rotor that I've used for the front is actually 160. This one from Shimano, 140 Shimano as well. Yeah, so basically that's the specification or the build for this bike. Okay, so the next thing that if you guys want to know the weight of this bike, so let me test it. Just check this weight. Hold on. Okay, so basically the bike weighs 8.32 kilos, including the pedal, the bottle cage, and also the front bike mount, bike computer mount. Okay, so another interesting part where you all want to know will be the free hub sound check. So let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it on the neck. Very nice. Yeah, so that's about it for the free hub sound check. Okay, so since I've already gone through the specification of this bike, so now let's talk about the performance of this bike on the road. Let's go.
A few moments later.
So how does this bike compare to my previous bike? Well, I would say, just to put it in one word, then I would say it's comfortable. Cause Helios maybe is slightly stiffer and the road feeling is slightly more harsh compared to this bike. And you really can feel the every each bump or the each stone on the road. But for this bike, you just feel slightly much more comfortable. Maybe because this bike is more like an all-rounder frame when compared to Helios, which is an aero frame. But yeah, so I just completed my ride with Team Bike Baju just now, and their cruising speed is around 35 and 40, around that range. But overall, I think the pace is manageable lah. I didn't do any work. Basically, I just drove all around me. Yeah, I'm not as strong as the racing gangs, but keeping up with their pace does make me a little bit more happy. Anyway, handling of the bike was great. Really snappy, smooth. Turning wise, downhill, the confidence is there. I can really take a corner really well. So in terms of stiffness, or should I say just a perceived effort for power transfer between my pedal and the bike on the road, kind of very smooth, efficient, no lagging behind also. I don't really feel like a drag behind on the bike where I push the power and there's a sluggish feeling. No, don't have this kind of feeling on the bike. But yeah, overall on the flat, I think handling is very smooth lah. Maybe we should compare this bike with Helios on the climb. Let's go.
Day 2.
Okay, right now I'm in Perez doing this climb with Jason and all. Okay, but anyway, how does this bike perform during a climb? Well, surprisingly, it performed much more better than I expected lah. If you compare this with Helios, the feeling of riding Helios is a bit harsher. Apa? It's been a while, I see Lucas. Anyway, actually while riding this bike on a climb, it caught me off guard. How should I put it? So if I only compare this bike with my previous bike, Helios, I would say Helios is much more difficult to climb. Maybe because of the aerogeometric stiffness of the bike also, I don't know. But in terms of power delivery during the climb, this Ceepo feels much more responsive. Even when I up saddle, I can feel the instant power delivery on the climb. And if you ask me about the comfort, I would say the comfort is way comfortable compared to Helios. But I'm not saying Helios is a bad bike, no, not by any means. It's just that because this frame is more geared towards all-rounder, and partly of the different geometric size, yeah, I think this climbs better than Helios. So if you want to say whether the comparison is fair or not, I would say the only thing difference with this bike compared to the Helios is the frame, the group set and all, except for the wheels. I'm using the same wheel, my Hyper 65, the same tire and all, but somehow this bike feels really different if you compare head to head on the climbing performance. Yeah. Alright guys, so yeah, that's about it for regarding on the bike performance on the road, on the flat and also the climb. I did not mention in my ride previously is actually the performance of Di2. So coming from a mechanical group set previously, I'm actually using a Ultegra mechanical group set from Shimano on my Polygon Helios A8. Anyway, coming from a mechanical group set, this is my raw experience on Ultegra Di2. The most noticeable difference will be the shifting speed. So I noticed that just with one click of a button, instantly my gear shifted to the next gear. So that's something to take note. And the shifting is very fast. Oh, another thing that I noticed on this Ultegra Di2 is actually the front derailleur, where it comes with auto trimming, where it prevents the chain rub, especially after you shift to the big chain ring. Then you will have a trimming to prevent the chain from rubbing the derailleur. That's really useful features. I know mechanical have it as well, but if the bike is not set up properly, maybe the trimming is not as effective as the electronic group set. Yeah, something that I've noticed actually. Hey everyone, Zach from Future here. So just now I mentioned about the trim features for the Di2. So let me show you. Okay, first I pedal, then I shift the gear. Can you see that? Even drop gear. You see that? So that's the trim features that I mentioned about. Okay. Another thing is that there's an extra feature from the shifter. Because this is an Ultegra R8100, there is a hidden button up here. You can even customize this button. Yeah, that's something that I haven't played with yet, but maybe I will in the future. Something new for Di2. One thing I need to bear in mind is the battery. Previously, I tried Di2 before and I forgot to charge the battery. That is scary experience. But anyway, that never happened on this bike yet. So hopefully that's something that I can remember. In terms of pricing, this frame itself starts around 9,000 ringgit Malaysia. So if you, depending on which model or which specs of or a group component that you pair this up, then the price may varies. So for more details, check out 96 Cycling USJ. They have been very helpful to introduce me this bike and explaining all the details regarding this bike before I make the purchase. Yeah, so shout out to 96 Cycling for introducing me this bike. Okay, so that's about it for today's video. I hope you all find this video entertaining or at least useful because there is not much review on this Ceepo Mamba-R out there. So hopefully you gain some knowledge from this video. So yeah, consider to share, like, subscribe on this channel, and there will be future plans for this bike. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I have interest in converting this bike into a TD setup. So yeah, something for you all to be excited from. Finger crossed.